All right, my friend, welcome back to Velocity. I hope that the first two modules have really started to open up who you are and what you're doing in the world. And so let's keep going into the depth. So week 3, module 3 is visualize and actualize. I love this module. I have been applying it my entire life without really knowing it. Probably started to know it more in high school and college, but I've just been very skilled at manifesting and setting out for something and knowing it will come true. And so just moving in alignment with it. So I mean it when velocity has been in formation, has been taking shape for decades before being able to present it to you like this, but I'm really glad to do so. Visualization is such a strong suit for me, so I really enjoy teaching it and sharing the importance of it. Thoughts become things. That's this phase. In step 1, we discovered and declared. So easy enough. It's like, this is what I want. Okay, yes. And then step 2 is like, there's so much shit in my way. It's like, okay, yes. But the power is in holding the vision beyond the barrier, beyond the resistance, beyond the breakdown. You have to accept, this is what I want. This is what I see. This is what I feel called to. This is my purpose. You have to accept and hold on to it. So we are activating the leader within so that you can then step up as the leader that you are. In this step, we are recalibrating to your actual vision. So to recalibrate, we are creating more clarity after release week. So you declared you ran into a brick wall and you're kind of dizzy, seeing stars, but we have to reset. Okay, is this what you want? What were your intentions? What were your commitments? There's a lot of repetition here because you have to recommit. That is how you hit a goal, truly. And yet it might get a little bit boring by recommitting to the same goal and remembering your commitment in general. But that's what's going to keep you moving along the path. Clarity after release week. What came up from release week? So clarity means we've released. You might have realized like part of that goal was just to feel good enough, or it was compensating for something that I thought was missing from my life. And I realized I'm not missing that. So there's a lot to sort through there. And so then we would further refine and define your vision. It might be tweaking it. It might mean adding to it, dreaming bigger. As I said in the couple of modules ago, is like we declare only based on the knowledge and awareness and possibility that's available to us. And so to really expand that, to further refine and define, particularly if you're doing this course with a group or one-on-one, or you have a coach in the process, it's really to have them help you expand too. Dream bigger, dream bigger. What if you got there, then what? What if you got there, then what? That's a good question. And you'll find it in the journaling prompt. So here I am queuing you up is if you had that dream, what would come next? What would come next? What would come next? And it's really going to help you because it would be fascinating right now. That certain declaration you made is the current mountain peak. You're going to get there. You're going to get there. It's done. It's a matter of fact. Then what? We make that mountain peak so important that we never look beyond it. A manifestation hack for you is to imagine the life you'd be living beyond that mountain peak moment, because then the mountain peak is actually just a milestone and it becomes way less important or significant. Significance is a really powerful word for that because we get so significant. I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. And it's like, again, the made it moment. I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. I hope that you're watching this and I already am and we laugh about it, right? What's so important about that is then what? Then what? If I only ever plan to get to New York Times bestseller, I'm going to wake up and be like, okay, now what? And if I start to live into the life of what happens after New York Times bestseller, then that's just a milestone. And I don't have to be so insignificant or important or worked up or overwhelmed by it. It's just a milestone on the map of life. So further refine and define the vision, resonance with the higher self. This is where we start to get mystical, people. I love this part. Resonance with the higher self and identify soul purpose in the long term. Why do you have this goal? Why do you have this destination or this dream? It's very likely that God, universe, your higher self planted this dream and vision on you because it is a part of your long game. It is a part of your journey. So here I am right in front of you. Imagine there is a me, a soul me, a spirit me, 20 feet up and 20 feet back, watching me, recording this, can see the whole studio, can see the computer, like just Abby, right? Like little puppet Abby. My spirit self sees me in this day, in this moment, but can also sort of like cast her vision further down the timeline of my life, 5 minutes from now, 5 days from now, 5 years from now. And she's looking and she's like, oh, she's right on track. Perfect. And if our higher self sees us veering off to the left or the right, but our human is just like, I want this, and we are full steam ahead going for something that's out of alignment, our soul self might redirect us, might nudge us, and we're like, no, I want what I want, and this is important to me. And the soul self instead will just like whack us back into alignment. That's when shit happens that you don't like in life. Divorce, death. I'm not laughing about it because I know the pain. I know the pain. It's for the highest good of all. It's for our soul purpose. It's because if left to our own devices, we would probably stray so far away, so far off track, because we get so hyper focused on what we think we want, and what we think we might not is not good for us, or we become hypnotized by other people's intentions, or we get really consumed by consumerism. So we're like, I want a status. I want I know you feel what I'm saying, but I just want to reiterate it because we get smacked back into alignment and it doesn't feel good. We don't have to have those if we'll stay in alignment. And I'm not saying you don't have free will. I'm not saying you can't choose, but there's these choices that are for the highest good of all, for what we came to do. And then there's times that when you're hiding out, or when you're not being your highest self, maybe trying to take the easy route or the lazy route or the selfish route. And so we have to be able to check in on ourselves and check in with our higher power. Our higher self can look backwards on the timeline and say everything she's been through is leading to this point and is leading to that destiny, that destination. The visualization meditation is often about you taking your consciousness. So you're here watching the computer screen, but I want you to go up for a minute and hang out with her or him. Float your attention, focus your attention, split your consciousness, and take the perspective of the higher self and look down on the back of your head, watching yourself watch the screen, watching me on the screen. See the room you're in. See the life circumstance you're in. See the financial circumstance you're in. Look from up there and see. You might be doing this for the first time as splitting your consciousness. You might not be able to cheat and look down the pipeline, look down the timeline and say oh shit, it all works out. How many of you wish you had the crystal ball that tells you how your life turns out so you can chill, right? I've always wished for that. So we might not be able to just look out down the timeline and say, oh yeah, it does all work out. You might have other obstacle courses to work through, and it's okay. Because everything is preparing you to continue to deliver your gift, to take you through to abundance, to the highest good of all. The highest good of self, the highest good we could perceive, might not be as good as it gets. We might imagine this wonderful life based on our definition, but we don't manifest it because it's inauthentic for the highest good of all. And what's good for all is good for you. I'm speaking from a really elevated place though. It's not about sacrifice. You might sacrifice what you think you want, but what would manifest for the highest good of all and for your highest good is beyond your wildest dreams of what maybe small dream you might have created. That's what I was talking about, being out of alignment or making an inauthentic goal. In part 2, clear and release, what comes up is the stuff that is inauthentic so you can release it and realign with your highest self and your highest good and your soul purpose. I really love the soul purpose conversation. It's something that I only have with people one-on-one because each individual soul purpose is so individualized. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can take this work to your coach. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you some general prompting questions in the journal prompts for this module so that you can start to look at what is my soul purpose and how can I apply that to this world. So the last thing I want to say as we wrap up, I talked about the meditation with the higher self, but let's talk about a visualization meditation. Being able to hold the vision is so powerful. One of the more popular analogies is athletes imagining making the winning game shot or catching the winning catch. So you're basically imagining, visualizing, and replaying success in your mind. So when you do that, this can be powerful in two ways, in the positive momentum and the negative momentum. If you visualize and meditate on your success and you feel resistance or guilt or shame coming up, it's because you need to go back to week 2 and reestablish your relationship with success. Even if I do not manifest those very literal visions, I will manifest the frequency of those visions, how I feel in those visions, what I know that I know in those visions, the woman that I am in those visions, the energetic feel of those rooms and that space and that achievement, that level of established that I feel in those visions. So it might not be taste, touch, smell, see, sense, literal and exact, but I will feel the same way and I will know when I feel the same way. And that's what visualization, particularly in terms of manifesting a desired outcome, is about. It's not about the exact desired outcome. And that's where people fail in realizing their progress and their success is it's not, I said I'd be a New York Times bestseller and I'm not. When? There's that measurement, there's that exact measurement. And what if I'm selling millions of books and have books in every language and clients all over the world? Do I need to be a New York Times bestseller? No. I have that frequency of success. Am I making a worldwide impact? I'm already a New York Times bestseller. And maybe literally, again, if you're watching this years down the road, then maybe that's true too. But even right now, I am a New York Times bestseller. I am the frequency of a New York Times bestseller. And there will be more measurements like that. Having books in multiple languages, selling all over the world. I technically do, just not in thousands and millions. It's in progress, in process. You will gain clarity. You will refine and define. You will gain more resonance with your higher self. And she and he will give you more hits of inspiration, more breadcrumbs of guidance along the way. You follow the thread of like, oh, I think I should do that next. Oh, I think I should do that next. Oh, I need to call that person back. Or you think of somebody and then they reach out to you. Oh, I need an editor. And then they show up in your life. And so you're going to be pulling your dream in as much as you're going for it. And you'll meet somewhere in the middle and it'll be like, I made it. This is velocity. This is momentum. This is declare and fulfill. This is creation. This is Hearts Unleashed. I'm in preacher mode right now. So thank you for tuning into module 3 of Velocity. Next up, we are going into enroll and fulfill, which is really magical. Be sure to head over and do those journaling prompts. Take your time. Let yourself evolve into them. Let yourself marinate in them, in the questions and in the answers. Don't rush the process. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust your higher self and just keep going. I love you.